Good evening. So, a question that has come up every now and then is what to do if you encounter a Bigfoot, almost along the same lines as if you're out hiking and you encounter a bear or Sasquatch safety. Now, obviously, these are incredibly elusive creatures, but people see them every day. People encounter them all the time. I'd say 99% of the people who encounter them aren't looking for them. They're not enthusiasts, they're not into the subject, they're not quote unquote researchers. They're just normal people hiking, hunting, driving home from work, exploring their property, logging, camping, doing fishing, doing whatever it is that they do out in the wilderness. And as you see behind us, a picture of Patty from the Patterson-Gimlin film, quite possibly the most famous Bigfoot encounter or most well-documented encounter in history. And I know most of you are going to laugh, and the very first thing everybody's going to say, if you encounter Bigfoot, take a picture, take a picture, take a video, take a picture. While I am not against that at all, obviously, I would love for people to take pictures and photographs. Myself, having encounters with mountain lions and bears in the past, very up close, and in fact, been a few feet within both, very unexpectedly, the last thing on your mind is taking a picture. The very first thing on your mind is getting out of there, getting to safety, getting back in the car, processing what's going on, and these are known creatures. And you got to think, if this is a known creature, and I'm having this kind of reaction, what if I'm a person who maybe heard of Bigfoot or maybe is into this, or, I've been out Bigfooting a bunch of times looking for them, and all the encounters I ever have is when I was least expecting it, never when I was looking for them. So there's got to be a certain amount of, whoa, crap, they're actually here. This thing is really real. Or I got one kind of in front of me, just shock, more or less. And that's something that we really have to consider when we talk about what to do with these things. So there's a lot of advice I can give from listening to hundreds of encounters, talking to researchers who've done a lot of field work, listening to people who've had habituation sites, and also looking a bit at primatology, looking at our great ape species of gorillas and chimpanzees. And we can even look at ourselves, and we can even look at tribal cultures and different things from around the world and kind of interpret that there's a few things you really should not do if you're in close proximity to one of these creatures. Now, one of the ones that always comes up for me is, and the same thing with the great apes, is you don't want to make eye contact, because especially if it's a big male, because that means you're challenging them. If you're looking right at them, in fact, when you go to the zoo and you see a gorilla, they usually have to say, don't make eye contact and don't stare. Well, you're there to look at the animals, so it's kind of funny. But if you stare, it's going to be as a challenge, like a dominance. Like if your dog ever stares at you and you stare back, it's a dominance thing. And when these things on the small side are 7.5 feet tall, upwards of 500 pounds, and that's a small one, you don't want to challenge them for dominance. The other thing you don't want to do, and I doubt anybody would do this, but smile. I know some people nervous laugh and nervous smile, or you kind of smile like, okay, back up. Well, in a lot of primate type cultures and behaviors, it's showing your teeth is either a sign of distress, or it's either a sign of, I'm scared, don't attack me, look how big my teeth are, or flat out aggression, look at my teeth, don't come over here. So smiling at them has a completely different meaning. You're probably not going to smile anyway, but blank stare, maybe if your hands are empty, put your hands out in front of you like you think, show that you don't have anything in front of you. If these things are coming up to windows and things like that, and you're not expecting it, I think a lot of the same thing, to kind of back away slowly, maybe leave the room and acknowledge that you saw them. But like you said, try not to stare, try not to do anything unless they become a problem, which I've made videos on that before in the past. Also, I think if you have a gun, like a long gun, keep it in your hand, don't put it down, but don't point it at them. Unless they're going to charge, or unless they're roaring at you and actively throwing stuff at you, unless you need to use it in a defensive situation. I say keep the gun in hand. They know what they are. A lot of reports that Bigfoot knows what guns are. We've been using them for a couple hundred years here in North America to shoot everything. So they know what guns are. I would keep it close by. I would hold it in my hands, but I would not point it at them. And I would not start fiddling with magazines or safeties or flipping stuff on and off. I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't do any action that would make it seem like you're going to shoot or you're going to provoke. But then again, I would not put the gun down. If it's on my shoulder, I would probably have my hand on a stock or something to where I could get to it in a hurry, but I would not take it off my shoulder. I think having a gun could save your life because they know what they are, and even you're a little puny human. They don't know. They know guns are powerful, even if you have a 22 or a bow and arrow or any kind of something, any kind of a weapon or perceived weapon or stick. Don't swing it, brandish it, or point it at them, but don't put it down either, because that could very well, if they don't know what it is, that could be very well stopping them from attacking you. So I always recommend going armed. If you have a pistol on you or something, be mindful of it. Make sure that it's on your hip or shoulder holster or something that you can get to it very quickly if you have to. Practice your draws if you carry a gun. If you have bear spray or pepper spray, they probably might not know what bear spray or pepper spray is. They might think it's a water bottle. So have it close and handy because you never know. But don't brandish, point, or start flipping with stuff. Same thing with camera gear and everything else. If you've already got the camera around your neck or in your hand and you can slowly back up and maybe very slowly take a picture without pointing it directly at them. I mean, maybe it's a GoPro or something you can just click on. But I think if you've got a big telephoto lens and a camera and you point it at them, that might not be good either. So just the other thing I can also recommend is, like in most dire situations, like if you're encountering if the same rule applies to people and other wild animals, is you don't want to get sucked in or tunnel vision. Like I said, you don't want to make direct eye contact. You kind of just want to back up and move out of there. If they're at a distance, you kind of want to let them know that you know that they're there, maybe kind of give them a look and kind of back up. But also you don't want to get tunnel vision. You want to look around. Maybe break your concentration for a second. Slowly look right and take a good look right, a good look left, keeping the creature in your peripheral vision that you can see movement if it's going to come at you. Don't get locked in with your auditory. Don't just be focused in on the one creature. Look around you. These things are rarely ever alone. And the last thing you want to do is back up into another one or fall off a cliff or slowly back up and trip over a rock and set off your pepper spray or fire a gunshot or something. And you want to be very mindful of your footing, your surroundings. Just kind of look around, slow, deliberate movements, and just kind of back up and get out of there. And like I said, if you can click a camera on or something, go for it, but use extreme caution. If you got a big telephoto lens, don't point it at them. I don't know what they're going to think it is. But like I said, for the most part, if you encounter one of these things, just keep your wits about you. If you have a weapon, keep it up with you too. Just keep it nearby and get out of the area. If you got kids with you, keep them close by, keep them behind you, and think about them first. Or if this thing charges or if I get attacked, how long can I hold them off, even with rock, sticks, fingernails, whatever you can, so the kid can get out of there. Just kind of certain situations. And thankfully, most most encounters we hear very rarely ever end up with an attack. I mean, a lot of encounters are out camping, and these things are very elusive and are throwing rocks. To have a broad daylight view is probably only going to happen if you stumble across one or it wants to be seen. There are reports of people sneaking up on these things or seeing them from a spotting scope from far away or through a rifle scope or up in a tree stand, and one goes walking by and they don't realize you're there. If that's the point, then maybe just stay still and let them go by. If you're out hiking and you see something in the bushes and it's peeking out and maybe following you, don't freak out, don't run. Maybe just be like, okay, I'm walking along this hiking trail and something's following me and something's kind of going through the trees peeking at me. I think I'm going to turn around and slowly work my way back. And then as time goes on, I'm going to pick up my pace and I'm going to go back the way I came or finish the loop or get out of there as soon as you can. If you're in a loop in a trail or something, maybe kind of get to a clearing or something, get back to your camp, get back to your truck, just kind of common sense stuff. So just take everything slow. Don't make any deliberate movements. Don't try to click any technology. Like I said, if you can click a GoPro or take a picture, or if it's running fast away from you and you can get a few shots off or something with a camera, okay, go for it. But like I said, your safety comes first. Just kind of back out of there. Have your gun, your pepper spray, your walking stick, your sharp knife. Have it close by, but don't brandish it. And just try to soak it in. Try not to poop your pants. and try to get out of there. Try to keep your heart rate and your breathing in check, because it's probably going to be pounding out of your chest. And just logically think, where's the trail? How do I get out of here? How do I get back? Take a good look around, see if there's anything else going on. Is a Sasquatch there hunting a bear, and you're going to back into a bear or off a cliff? So you just got to just take a break, take a breath, slow, deliberate movements, and find an exit plan. So that's kind of my advice. I've had a number of people ask me this, and quite a few have asked me lately what to do if you encounter a Sasquatch. And my experience is it's always when you least expect it. You're going to stop on a trail to find a tree to go pee behind, or you're going to get a drink of water, or you've hiked this big long trail and cut through the bushes and done all this stuff and haven't found anything, and you're within 50 yards of the truck, and you start unzipping your jacket and taking your backpack off, and something's crashing into bushes near the truck. That's just the way these creatures work. So anyway, stay safe out there. Just use a little common sense. Always have an exit plan. Never hike alone. Have a buddy. Be on the same page about these things, and stay safe in the woods.